What are some spoilers for the next month of 2020? Toilet paper becomes a universally accepted currency. I've been saving caps for nothing. Might as well wipe your ass with them. I can now say I wipe myself with money. I'd sooner miss it. Think about it. January was war, so that's Earth. February was Australia's fire, so there's fire. The coronavirus is transmitted through the air. And now all we need is a little water. Only the Avatar can control all four elements and bring balance to the world. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. Would you look at that? What a lovely finish to that story. The dolphins see the writing on the wall and finally decide to peace out link. B/N_dumb6k for good. So long and thanks for all the fish. So sad that it should come to this. Jesus to electric boogaloo, WTF is happening? Media does a terrible April Fool's joke. Coronavirus improves as people recover. 2 celeb deaths and a terrorist attack. Media does a terrible April Fool's joke saying coronavirus improves as people recover and 2 celebs die in a terrorist attack. We didn't start the fire. Schools close. Tom Hanks. Trouble with the big banks, no vaccine. Quarantine. No more toilet paper, scene triple ban. Weinstein. Panic, COVID-19, NBA. Gone away. What else do I have to say? How many more minutes until we see this screenshot on a meme page on Facebook? Spoiler, there is no next month. Good news for calendar companies. They only have to print 3 months instead of 12. The economy is saved. World War Emu. The emus team up with the locust, and we're all going to perish. Australia is the first to succumb. A purge of all non-emu begins in Australia. The few Aussies left allowed to live are the top scientists. The scientists are forced to develop flight for the otherwise flightless species. Their one true weakness. The emu use their new power to travel beyond Australia's borders. The key was fall in 2 weeks' time. Wait, I thought they already cancelled 2020. I know I'm trying to sit it out. The old gods rise from the deep, their corruption having already been spreading among the humans for decades at this point. In order to stop the old ones, the planet Earth will be completely destroyed by an alien vessel. I, for one, welcome our new Lord Cthulhu. Don't look at me, I voted for Codus. I voted for Dagon. I mean, at least then you could go swimming all the time. I've always wanted gills. People will clog septic lines with excess toilet paper. If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. And if it's white, the septic lines won't be alright. Rich people make it out okay. Please sir, may I have $1 trillion bailout? Depends. Are you Wall Street? It's just 3 main streets in a trench coat. Kick them out. But they did a business. The coronavirus instantly disappears after coming into contact with Keith Richards. LPT. Take so many drugs that a virus would be scared to infect you. Everyone and their grandmother will post meme about 420 and smoking weed. How their grandmothers will be dead. Not this grandmother. Emergency services in Europe, North and South America, Australia and most of Asia are going to get overwhelmed. Governments are finally going to realize that they actually have to lead and do shit for the ridiculous amounts of money they get paid. Martial law is a possibility for some countries. Then after 2 to 4 weeks the situation will start to improve. Life will go on. In a couple years COVID-19 will start to become one of those hey, remember when? Stories. SARS, MERS, and H1N1 are still a thing. COVID-19 isn't going anywhere. It'll keep coming back. Just not at the pandemic rate that it is now. Yep, pretty much what an emerging/re-emerging disease does. Pulmonary tuberculosis is still a pandemic though. This can't be good for mighty B. Arthur Morgan. I win. Macaw fucking dies. The spread of COVID-19 will decrease significantly, and I can finally wipe my butt again. Preach. Joe Biden dies after getting too handsy with a COVID patient. Alas, it's what I have some knowledge in. Innumerable small businesses, especially restaurants, will go under. Countless low-income jobs will be eliminated in the short term, causing unemployment among those least prepared to ride this out. Bear markets across the globe will devastate many in the financial industry. The more automated stock market of today will self-perpetuate down past a reasonable reaction. Fear will beat greed. Some cities will see light panic as particular foods go out of stock. Starvation will not be an actual issue. The worst hit centers will be provided civilian res if necessary. Someone will admit finally we are not close to a vaccine. A few celebrity and political fatalities will send panic in those who have been positive so far. Many US companies will realize the effectiveness of work from home. This model may stay after the disease. Biden will outpace Bernie. Bernie brothers will be mad. But that's just a theory. Many US companies will realize the effectiveness of work from home. This model may stay after the disease. My company has already instituted expanded work from home. All non-business critical people are WFH, and it is going horrifically. Even giving credit that technical issues would be solved if WFH was permanent. Having 20 people in different rooms on a call together results in everyone constantly talking over each other and stepping on each other's comments. Depends on the business, I guess. The coronavirus will suddenly disappear and people will pretend like they didn't fight over toilet paper. Oh, and also the toilet paper companies will slowly go bankrupt as no one will need any more toilet paper until 2021. Toilet paper, toilet paper, toilet paper. I really hope Costco denies all these fuckers their returns on toilet paper when they decide they don't need 5 years worth. Dolphins will begin leaping out of the water and into space whilst singing a catchy little ditty. It's probably titled, "So Long, and Thanks for All the Fish." It gets worse for another month or so, but then we start to see improvements. Some of you guys are so negative. Probably this, to be honest. A public figure will die. There will be 2 crisis riots. Late night television will tank. Trump will appear to have suffered brain damage. But it will just be staff controlling his every word. But he appeared to have brain damage before he was elected. No one with a properly functioning brain talks like him. His speech pattern is a well-known dementia indicator. I'm a wind expert. No one is more of an expert in wind than me, so I asked why windmills work. Paraphrasing something I saw DT say about wind turbines a while ago. Well, I agree that he certainly blows a lot of hot air. You're dead. One can dream. To real. Tom Hanks will be fine. Of course he will be. Since there's no serious tag, I will be posting my completely hopeful fantasies here. Us and European governments will start taking the virus a lot more seriously in the following days. A big factor will be that big political and business figures will start getting the virus, which will be a wake-up call to the dominant class who thought it wouldn't be a big deal for them. I suspect one president or high position will die, and it will be the trigger for actual strict measures. You'll begin to see strict lockdowns being implemented at earlier stages than Italy. Some of these countries will end up like Italy, worst case scenario. Some will not get it as bad, but all of them are big, rich countries that will get over it. At the beginning of April, the crisis will be practically over in China, to the point that you will see China as the ones closing their borders to avoid importing the outbreaks from other countries. Lots of accusations that China used the crisis as an opportunity to become even more controlling of their citizens' actions. Many internal controls put in place for the lockdowns will remain, and the Chinese government will say that they have to keep those controls around just in case the virus could make a comeback. They will start offering their help to countries, even offering to send health workers, which will at first be seen with suspicion and accusations. But China's main intention here will be to create greater ties between them and African/South American countries, even Europe. China will be glad to be owed many favors. Some strange environmental conditions, or perhaps genetic reasons, or perhaps age differences in population, are going to make it seem as if the virus is much nicer to many of the countries in the global south that you would otherwise have assumed were the most vulnerable. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe it is that their demographics are much younger, or maybe it is that they had more exposure to germs that made their immune systems more apt at dealing with this virus. But whatever the case, for these countries, coronavirus will be a problem, but not a bigger problem than the epidemics they are already used to experiencing. For these countries, the worst problems will be social, due to the panic, and economical, because the whole world economy is going to be at halt. April, there will be 2 announcements. First, an existing drug that is already used for other kinds of infections and is known to be safe will be confirmed to be effective at treating severe cases. Since it is known to be a safe drug, it will start getting used right away, but initial supplies will be limited. The second April announcement, a new drug. This drug will not only be good for treatment, but it will also give temporary 1 to 3 months immunity to the virus in healthy people. So some people will refer to it as a vaccine, even though it doesn't really work the same as a vaccine. However, since this is a new drug, the results will be preliminary, and it will only be administered on geographical locations that are already at the worst state possible of an outbreak. It will play a huge role in reversing those situations, and will eventually be adopted by every country. It will be so good that conspiracy theorists will accuse the makers of being the ones who unleashed the virus in the first place. Where are you getting these very specific drug ideas? Haha. Well, the first one is simple enough. During the Wuhan outbreak, Chinese doctors tried lots of combinations of existing antiviral drugs in hopes that they could be helpful, and there are clinical trials for some of them. The result for those trials is supposedly expected by April. China's government is already recommending a combination of existing drugs for treatment, although it's a gamble before the studies are released. Hopefully one of these drugs is found to be effective. Would be great news, because existing drugs are easier to develop or clone. The second one is more fantasy, but the idea is synthetic antibodies, based on what the immune system of healthy humans or maybe mice produces in response to the virus. I read that this is an approach being attempted at the moment, but this one is not really expected for April, unless one company out there is just having a significant miracle breakthrough right now. A lot of people in the US will scramble to file their taxes before the 15th. The 20th of April 2020 is cancelled. I'm gonna turn 28. April buddies. It's going to get a lot worse. I believe it's gonna get better pretty soon. You can believe that all you want. I think it's common sense. Unless virus is so bad and unstoppable, we should start seeing more positive news in upcoming weeks. The virus itself won't be gone, but countries should be able to control it. Up till last week, Europa didn't take it seriously until Italy and Iran didn't blow up. But since then, many schools, kindergarten, events, sports and other big major events have been closed or suspended. Whatever you wanna say, people took it more seriously now. It's gonna lead to virus being more controlled. Many big corporations are losing millions of revenue because sports and events are closed. That's why they gonna try to do everything to control this thing. I mean, we are already seeing positive sides from China or North Korea. I can't remember. They let people start going to work. What happened in China past 3 months is what is happening in Europe or ATM. If we can't control this virus in 1 to 2 weeks, then we are pretty much fucked. You're underestimating how stupid people are and how much they think that this won't affect them. I appreciate your optimism though. Somebody has to stay positive. Quiet and fear-driven citizens waiting for shelves to restock and a cure to be released. If I've learned anything from rewatching all of the Mad Maximum series, it's that I really need to stock up on football pads and slave BDSM outfits before Amazon stops its free 2-day shipping. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.